Hi guys, welcome back. The Me Too movement took off in 2017 after a couple of women accused Harvey Weinstein of sexually assaulting them in the workplace. Over a dozen women accused the defamed film producer of assaulting them, and he ended up in jail after a few years. The movement soon spread like a wildfire after Alyssa Milano urged women on Twitter to share their stories of sexual harassment and assault to the world. And an insane amount of women came out with their stories of harassment, abuse. Soon it spread from the film industries to other important industries. The music industry, academics, sports, politics, news media, finance, Silicon Valley, and so on. Matt Lauer, Kevin Spacey, Andrew Cuomo, Justin Bieber are all on the receiving side of the Me Too movement. And it spread internationally to every industry in all the prominent countries. In India, Nana Patekar, MJ Akbar are two very well-known names whose careers were lost because of the Me Too allegation. The accused were put in jail, careers were lost, bills were introduced in countries for safeguarding women's rights, and safety of women in the workplace became such a huge topic of contention. Finally, women seem to be speaking out and pushing back harassment and violence, especially in the workplace. Women even felt empowered for a little bit of time because bad men were now going to jail for what they did, and they were being removed from the positions of power because of the crimes that they committed. But the thing is, the Me Too movement is a feminist movement that mainly focused on women and their safety. It was a movement almost entirely designed for women and their issues of fear and their issue of feeling unsafe at their workplaces. There was a very consistent criticism of the Me Too movement, saying that it only focused on women and that there was this huge issue of fake allegations happening on the pretext of Me Too movement. A lot of people came forward to say that that's not a good thing and that we have to do something about these fake allegations as well. But the women in power, the feminists and the women behind the Me Too movement completely ignored these criticisms, and actually they even blamed these critics, saying that they are misogynistic and sexist and whatnot. In effect, any woman who came out with a story was given full leeway to have their story heard and to put that man behind bars. And then an aggressor, a very smart human being with a very twisted mind, figured out the whole algorithm of Me Too movement, and she made millions out of it. All she had to do was be a woman, craft a story of heinous sexual and physical violence, play the victim, use the right buzzwords, and blame patriarchy for all the things that happened to her, and then she could get away with anything again as a woman. It's crazy how her story matches with the very popular and feminist approved story of domestic violence. It's like a story that's taken straight out of the life of a female victim of domestic violence, a battered, scared woman who still wouldn't leave her abuser because of trauma bonding and Stockholm syndrome. She had a perfect story in place, a story for which she planted evidence. She deliberately made the details public for defaming him, and even faked PTSD symptoms to trick the psychologists to believe that she has trauma. And she did get away with a lot of it. This woman, who has admittedly hit her ex-husband, impaired him physically, and did many other horrible things, used the Me Too movement to further defame her victim and destroy his life once and for all. And in the process of destroying his life, also extract as much money as she can from him. And the question that we must revisit on the wake of this verdict is, why did we make sexual and physical abuse and violence a gender issue? When I ask this question, I'm reminded of Amber Heard's psychologist Dr. Hugh's testimony, where she kept on saying that the abuses of domestic violence are always men and the victims is women. Consistent with the story that Amber Heard told in the trial, Dr. Hughes also painted a picture of a battered woman, a struggling woman who was suffering at the hands of her intimate partner but wouldn't leave for very sad reasons. These symptoms and these signs of abuse and trauma are all true. But the problem is that that is not limited to just one gender. There is no gender difference in abuse or violence, and we must stop looking at these things with a gendered lens. Men can abuse women, men can abuse children, women can abuse men, women can abuse children. Transgenders can abuse others, and transgenders can be abused by others. There is no gender when it comes to heinous crimes like these. So stop making it about just women. If you give complete leeway to any gender or any sex to talk about their problems and their problems alone, these kinds of bad people are going to sneak in and get what they want. Abuse and violence should be considered as a cultural crisis and a human crisis. And there is enough evidence before us to know that these toxic behaviors are a result of developmental issues or early childhood development. So our real focus should be directed towards changing these early childhood developmental issues so that people become more well-rounded and secure with themselves. That is something that we should all think about at the wake of this verdict. And in the next video, I will be talking exactly about how childhood development can impact toxic behaviors. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button. Please subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Share this video with others and follow me on my Instagram and Facebook pages. The links are given in the description. Thank you and have a great time.